All right, folks, for the last few days, we have been talking about slope-intercept form for a linear equation. And we have learned that the slope-intercept form looks like this: y equals mx plus b. Now, this is a really useful form for a linear equation, and it's really useful because it gives us two important pieces of information. The m that we see sitting in front of x is the slope of our line, which helps us to graph because slope is rise over run. And then the b that we see out here at the end of the equation, we have learned is our y-intercept. Useful for graphing because this tells us where the line crosses the y-axis. So when my linear equations are in this form, it makes it easy for me to graph because I get my slope and my y-intercept directly from that equation. So I don't ever want you to try to identify the slope or the y-intercept or draw a graph unless the equation is in this form. Slope-intercept form is what we always want. So, if I were to give you this equation, y equals 2x plus 3, the first thing I would want to decide is that slope-intercept? Is this y equals mx plus b? And I can see clearly that it is. I've got my y equals, my 2x is my mx, and my plus 3 is my b. So in this equation, my slope would be 2, which I would think of as 2 over 1, and my y-intercept would be 3. So because this equation, y equals 2x plus 3, is a slope-intercept equation, I can easily identify my slope and y-intercept. If I had y equals a negative 2/3 x minus 1, again, I could look at this and say, is it y equals mx plus b? And we can see that it is. Here's our y equals. Negative 2/3 x is our mx, and then minus 1 is our b. So on this one, I get m equals negative 2/3, and I get b is equal to a negative 1. If I have something like y equals x,
136, 58, 136, 58.
Is that a y equals mx plus b equation? And I can see that it is. It has the y equals. The 1x is my mx, and then my b, even though I can't see it, is there. It's just a plus 0. So in this equation, my m would be 1, and my b would be 0. So this is what you've been doing for the last couple of days. You've been given equations that were in this y equals mx plus b form, and when you see them like that, it's really easy to identify the m and the b, to figure out what the slope and the y-intercept are. Now what we're going to do today is look at equations that maybe don't look like that slope-intercept form. So here is an example. All right, so I've got 2x plus 3y is equal to 6. 2x plus 3y is equal to 6. So what I want to know is that a y equals mx plus b equation? And you can see clearly that it's not. If I line up my equal signs and draw a line through it, the only thing I should have on this side is y. You'll notice I have 2x plus 3y. So it's not y equals, it's 2x plus 3y equals. And then over here I should have x and b, mx and b. I don't have both of those over here. So this is the kind of problem we're going to talk about today. And what you're going to have to do when the equation is not in slope-intercept form is you're going to have to change it. So we're going to talk about how to do that. Now, here's what I want you to notice. In y equals mx plus b, we want y to be alone. So I want this y in my equation to be alone. So you'll notice that means the 2x and the 3 are going to have to go away. So here's how we're going to do this. The first thing I want you to do is find your term that contains y, and I want you to circle it. So I'm going to circle this positive 3y. So find that term that has your y in it and circle it. Now, here's what you're going to do. You're going to need to cancel out this 2x. And to cancel out this 2x, you can either add 2x or subtract 2x. Now I want you to think about it. That is a positive 2x. So if you wanted to cancel that out, would you add 2x or would you subtract 2x? To cancel it out, we would have to do the opposite. So we're going to have to subtract 2x. If we do it to one side of the equation, then we have to do it to the other as well. So we're going to circle the term that has the y, and then we're going to cancel out the x term by either adding or subtracting. In this case, we would subtract 2x. Now, these two are going to cancel each other out.
91.
So that means on this side we have 3y equals, and on this side I want to set it up so it looks like mx plus b. So I'm going to want to put negative 2x first, because that's my mx, and I'm going to want to put the 6 second. So notice I'm going to take these two terms and arrange them so it sets me up for mx plus b. Now remember what we're trying to do here. We're trying to get y by itself. Our y is not by itself yet. He is being multiplied by 3. So now we're going to divide by 3 to get rid of that. And when you divide by 3, you're going to divide everything by 3. So these 3's will cancel each other out, and there you'll have your y equals. Now, on this side, it's all about simplifying. Negative 2 divided by 3 can't be simplified. So we leave that as is. But we can simplify 6 divided by 3. We know that's 2. And you can use your calculator to do all of that simplifying. So here is that equation in slope-intercept form. I get y equals mx plus b. And now I can see that my slope is negative 2/3 and my y-intercept is 2. So on every single problem that you do from this point forward, the first thing you're going to have to do is decide, is it a y equals mx plus b equation? And if the answer is no, then you're going to fix it. You're going to change it so that it is. All right, so let's say we have 5x minus 2y is equal to 12. 5x minus 2y is equal to 12. Now remember what we want. We want this to be y equals mx plus b. So I'm going to write that above it. Notice that I am lining up my equal signs, and I'm going to draw the line right down through that equal sign. Now, I want y to be alone. He is not. Okay? Y has a 5x and a negative 2 with him. So, find your term that has y. It is negative 2y. I'm going to circle that. And then I am going to get rid of this 5x. Now, I'm either going to add 5x or subtract 5x to get rid of him. Subtracting would be the way to get rid of him. So we're going to do minus 5x on this side, minus 5x on this side. These cancel. So now we have negative 2y equals, and on this side, remember I want to arrange it so that the mx goes first and the b goes second. So I'm going to put my negative 5x first and my positive 12 second. Now, y still isn't by itself. I have negative 2y, so he's being multiplied by negative 2. So now to get rid of that, I'll do the opposite and divide everything by negative 2. So y equals, and now I need to do some simplifying. Negative 5 divided by negative 2 becomes a positive 5/2. And then positive 12 divided by negative 2 becomes a negative 6. And now we can see our old buddy, y equals mx plus b. My slope for this line would be 5/2. My y-intercept for this line would be negative 6.
34, 81, 134, 81.
All right, so we've done a couple of examples now, and notice what we've done in both. The first thing we've done is either add or subtract to cancel out the x, and then we multiply or divide to get rid of that number with y. So add or subtract to get rid of the x, and then divide to get rid of that number that's with y. All right, so let's say we had a negative 3x minus y is equal to 15. A negative 3x minus y is equal to 15. Now I want you to remember here that with this y, that this is like having a 1 here, so negative 1y. And we want this to look like y equals mx plus b. Oh, let me get a different color. Draw my line through my, whoops, I don't know what I did there. Draw my line through my equal sign. Remember what we want. We want this y to be by itself, which in our equation it is definitely not. So I have negative 1y in my problem. First thing I'll need to do is cancel out that negative 3x. So do I add 3x or subtract 3x? The answer is I would do the opposite and add 3x. So now I have negative 1y equals, and on this side we want to put mx first, so we'll put 3x first, and b second, so we'll put our positive 15. Now, notice that I still don't have what I wanted. I still don't have my y alone. I need to get rid of this negative 1. So that means negative 1 times y. I'll do the opposite and divide every term by negative 1. Which will cancel these out. So I'll end up with y equals 3 divided by negative 1 is negative 3. So I'm going to have negative 3x. And then positive 15 divided by negative 1 is a negative 15. So there's my y equals mx plus b equation. And I get that m is equal to negative 3 and that b is equal to a negative 15. So we want that y to be alone. So first, add or subtract to get rid of x, and then you'll divide to get rid of the number that's in front of y. If you have any questions about changing to slope-intercept form, please let me know.